How you doing? I was just actually pulling some pine nuts out of the oven. I toasted them in a 375-degree oven, and they're going to be part of our stuffing for our braised beef braciole. I'm going to let them cool, and I'm going to show you how to go ahead and make this stuffing. I've got 1 pound of 80% ground beef. You can use 90 if you like, but I like the fat content of this one, so I'm going to use 80%. I've got 2 whole eggs, and I like to crack my eggs on a flat surface as opposed to the side of the bowl so we don't get any shell inside. And then for the rest of our stuffing, I have some seasoned breadcrumbs. They have some dried herbs and some garlic. I have some Pecorino Romano cheese. That's sort of like Parmesan Reggiano's saltier cousin, and we really need the salt for the stuffing. I have some golden raisins to lend some sweetness, some cracked pepper. I've got some Italian parsley or flat leaf parsley, and that gives it a nice floral note. And I've got some fresh chopped garlic for a little bit of bite, and of course salt. We want to season everything all the way through. So everything's just going to go right into the same bowl. Lose this plate. And what I have, my pine nuts are cool. This is just a couple of tablespoons of toasted pine nuts. They're going to go right in as well. We've made meatballs before together, and I'll say it again, the best way to go ahead and mix things up is to use your hands. So I'm going to get right in there. And we really want to make sure that this is mixed very well. That way, every time we take a bite of the braciole, we get a little bit of everything. We want to make sure that with every bite, we get a piece of raisin and pine nut and those delicious herbs and seasonings that we've added. So don't be afraid to get in there and get your hands dirty. And as soon as our stuffing is mixed, I've got some slices of top round. And we sell them already pre-sliced, and I've got them laid out on the board here. And it's just a very convenient item. They come 4 to a package, and it really makes putting together this braciole very, very easy. So now that our stuffing's mixed, I'm going to grab a nice amount. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to set it right down at the bottom of each piece of my cutlet. And then we're just going to start rolling from the bottom. We fold a little piece up, and then we're just going to roll it right over, and it sort of just makes its own nice, neat little package. All right, so we've got our nice bundles. I'm going to go ahead and wash my hands. We're going to season them up and get them in the pan. So we've got our bracioles rolled up, and I want to go ahead and season them on all sides with salt, cracked black pepper, and some pan searing flour, because we are going to sear these, so we do want the protection that the pan searing flour provides. We want to get them on all sides, and this is an important step. You see where we've got the seam where we finished rolling it? That's the side that I want to go in the pan first. That's really going to help seal everything in. The beauty of this recipe is it doesn't involve any twine, any tying, so as soon as you have them rolled and seasoned, they can go right into the pan. I've got a braising pan here that I've preheated on medium-high. I've started a few browning already. I'm just going to take these and go right into our pan. Seam side down, just like pan searing. And any time that we braise, we want to make sure that we're developing that nice golden brown color. That really lends a flavor to the finished dish. We've said it before, braising is almost like you're building something, and every step has its importance, but you really want to let the pan do the work here. And as soon as you've got them seared, I've got a clean plate here. I'm just going to go ahead and remove the seared ones to my clean plate, because we're going to start building the sauce in the pan. And I can show you all the delicious goodies that are left behind. Give these a quick turn. So we've got all this beautiful fond on the bottom. You can see there's little bits of the stuffing there again. That caramelized protein is really going to lend itself to the finished sauce. And the best way to get it off the bottom of this pan is to use some red wine. I always use something that I'm comfortable drinking. I usually have a glass of it going while I'm cooking. So we go ahead. We've got a cup and a half going for this recipe. We'll use our spoon, and we just want to go ahead and help those bits off the bottom of the pan for just a moment. We'll get that up to a simmer. And I've got 2 24-ounce packages of our seasoned tomato sauce. It's a refrigerated product. It uses only the freshest ingredients, and that's going to really lend a nice brightness to our dish as well. We're going to cook it for a couple of hours, but this fresh tomato is really going to make it sing. So the whole thing can go right in. Both go right in there. And when you're braising, the important thing is, while you're letting the oven do the work, it's very important that you start that process first. And what I mean is, if we were to put this in the oven cold, it would take much longer time for it to come up to that simmer, which is going to tenderize our top round. So we want to make sure that it's already up to a simmer before we add the meat back to the pan. Then it goes in the oven, and then you're hands-free. You can just go ahead and get on with your day. Just give this a quick stir. I'm actually going to turn the heat up just a little bit so we can get up to that simmer. And when I say simmer, we shoot for about 180 degrees. You don't need to get a thermometer out. All you really need to look for is just 1 or 2 bubbles breaking the surface every now and then. We don't want a full rolling boil, just a couple of bubbles breaking the surface, and then you know that you're there. Give it a stir. You see we've got all that nice dark color that from the wine and those beautiful bits of protein there on the bottom of the pan. Give that a stir. I'm going to go ahead and start adding my braciole back to the pan. And you can go ahead, this is a big enough pan, so you can just go ahead and get them right in there. They're all going to fit just fine. Right in. And I've got all these beautiful juices on the bottom of the plate, so before I get rid of that, I'm going to go ahead and dump that in as well. That's just extra flavor. And as soon as I see bubbles starting to break the surface, I know I'm ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and put my cover right on the top. I've got an oven preheated to 350 degrees. I'm going to pop that door open, get in there. And these are going to cook for about 2 hours. And then by the time you see what's going on, after that 2 hours, we'll take a look here. We could see how our sauce has reduced very, very nicely. It's thickened up beautifully. Our meat's going to be nice and tender. Today we're going to serve it with some cheesy polenta, and then we've got some braised fennel with figs. It's got a little bit of cinnamon in there. I use polenta today. Risotto works great. Any sort of pasta. The key idea here is to have something to sop up all that beautiful sauce that we spent the time making. And this serves 8 people. So I've got 8 braciole in here, 1 per person with all these other things. It's a very hearty meal. It's perfect for that Sunday in the fall when you got a fire in the fireplace. You've got the family coming over. It's braised beef braciole with cheesy polenta, braised fennel and figs. Tried at home. It couldn't be easier. That is a perfect recipe. You got to try it at home.